Hi, this is Cyber 7910 Capstone Project, Group 4, Gevorgis Chemala, Masrura Tasneem, Richard Beiswanger, and Uju Anachebe. I'm Richard Beiswanger. The main objective for this Capstone Practicum team project is to gain experience practicing the skills we learned throughout the Cybersecurity Master's Program by emulating a real-world scenario, configuring cybersecurity protections on a small company web server, implementing both defensive blue team protections and red team vulnerability assessment penetration tests. As Team 4, each team member took on the responsibility of leading a major deliverable in the project. In the guise of the cybersecurity consultancy company Cyber Guardian Solutions, Richard Beiswanger was the Chief Information Security Officer, Uju Anachebe was the cyber analyst, Masrura Tasneem was the cyber engineer, and Gevorgis Chemala was the penetration tester. We are Cyber Guardian Solutions, a cybersecurity consulting company hired by the small business Caribbean-inspired steakhouse, Aquaba. Our mission is to protect their e-commerce web server by performing blue and red team tasks in this real-world scenario. The entire project was completed within a 7-week time frame from start to finish. To manage this project, we broke it down into 5 manageable milestones. Richard Beiswanger led the first milestone involving overall project planning. In the next milestone, led by Uju Anachebe, we prepared a tailored security assessment and policies for Aquaba. The third milestone is security implementation and exploitation planning, led by Masrura Tasneem. Fourth, Gevorgis Chemala led blue team and red team pen testing and security operations activities. And finally, Richard Beiswanger led this presentation summary to self-reflect on this project and its results. For this project, we coordinated our time using a Gantt chart illustrating our group and individual tasks across the timeline. We created deadlines for milestones and dedicated hours to tasks that would allow us to achieve these goals. Despite our wholly online presence, this method simplified our ability to collaborate as a team and enabled us to confidently complete this intimidating project by breaking it down into manageable, timely tasks. With the planning milestone completed, our next step was to begin Phase 1 and introduce Cyber Guardian Solutions to the small company Aquaba.
Hi everyone, I'm Uju and I'll be discussing Phase 1. In Phase 1, we had to set up a well-rounded security program for the small business Aquaba. The security program includes information security policies, a risk assessment, and a technical plan. We developed a general security policy that defines the principles for protecting Aquaba's information assets, protects the digital assets of Aquaba, and mitigates any risk. The policies include internet access and usage policy, email policy, bring your own device policy, and software installation policy. According to the Internet Access and Usage Policy, Internet access is strictly for business purposes, with guidelines against visiting unauthorized sites or using VPNs to bypass security, and also requiring regular monitoring for compliance. The email policy restricts system use to business communication, forbids forwarding to third parties, and advises caution with attachments and links from suspicious sources. The Bring Your Own Device policy allows authorized individuals to bring their devices, provided they meet security standards. Approved software, strictly for business purposes, must be installed by the system administrator, with employees ensuring installations uphold data confidentiality and integrity as per the software installation policy. Secondly, we define an access management policy in order to safeguard Aquaba's sensitive data, establish appropriate access levels for all employees, and help maintain security for all server infrastructure, including systems integrity by complying with relevant regulations. Aquaba's access control policy establishes 2 authority levels: granting administrative privileges exclusively to restaurant managers and IT personnel who manage user accounts and security configurations as outlined in the maintenance and configuration section. User access is based on a job function with strict measures like strong passwords, account lockout, and limited remote access to ensure security. Additionally, physical access to devices and server locations is tightly controlled with password protection and encryption to prevent unauthorized entry. We performed a risk assessment in order to identify any potential vulnerabilities and to assess associated threats in order to implement proper security measures. Here is our table for the risk assessment we performed. The assets include Apache, the web server, MariaDB, the database server, Red Hat, the operating system, WordPress, the network infrastructure, and the employees of Aquaba. The risks were ranked from level 1 to level 4, with level 1 being a very low risk and level 4 being a high risk. To briefly discuss the table, the network infrastructure, WordPress, and employees presented level 4 risk if compromise was to occur. The database server, MariaDB, and the operating system, Red Hat, overall presents with lower level risk in the case of compromise. The risk assessment was guided by known practices, the National Institute of Standards and Technology guidelines, and the needs of Aquaba. We developed a well-rounded technical plan to protect Aquaba's system. Aquaba relies on specific service setup including Red Hat Enterprise, Apache, MariaDB, and WordPress to maintain their e-commerce website. To strengthen their security, we implemented 4 key strategies: restricting privileges to minimize access, ensuring regular updates for all systems, themes, and plugins, encrypting data during transmission to protect sensitive information, and lastly, establishing a robust backup plan for critical data. We used a variety of tools throughout our project to aid in analyzing our server and Team 3's server. Some of the security tools we decided to implement are OpenVAS, Mmap, Nikto, WPS Scan, and GoBuster. OpenVAS is a vulnerability scanning and management tool that detects and assesses security vulnerabilities. Mmap scans networks and servers for services hosted on the server, operating system, and open ports. Nikto is a web vulnerability scanner that scans for common vulnerabilities. WPS Scan scans WordPress sites to identify vulnerable plugins, themes, weak passwords, and other vulnerabilities. Lastly, GoBuster is a directory and a file brute forcing in web application that discovers hidden or unauthorized content. The results of the security tools used will be further discussed in upcoming slides.
Hello everyone, I'm Mashura Tasnim and I'll be presenting Phase 2, which is Security Implementation and Exploit Planning. To implement our security policies, we deployed a layered security strategy encompassing firewalls, antivirus, and intrusion detection. We leveraged Nmap for network mapping and WP-Scan to secure WordPress elements. Then we employed Nikto for web server vulnerability scanning, and we used GoBuster to reveal hidden paths. Finally, we prepared OpenVAS and Metasploit setup for comprehensive penetration testing. To build a strong defense for our server, we explored cyber threats and vulnerabilities and developed a secure IT environment, safeguarding against unauthorized access. We also updated system software and established automated update protocols. Then we configured SE/Linux policies to enable necessary WordPress update. We introduced tools such as Nikto, GoBuster, Nmap, and WP-Scan for prevention, detection, and response. Leveraging Let's Encrypt, we switched to self-signed certificates for HTTPS setup. Lastly, we configured UFW to serve as a primary network traffic gatekeeper and tailored fail-to-ban settings to deter brute force attack. For security enhancement and troubleshooting, we addressed FPM issue via SE/Linux policy adjustment to facilitate WordPress functionality. We configured fail-to-ban for aggressive defense against intrusion attempts for proactive protective measurement. And we adjusted the HTTPD and mod security configuration files for stricter web navigation rules, enhancing overall site security. Lastly, we integrated Wazoo and TMAV for continual vigilance and monitoring. We installed Nikto and performed initial scan. Nikto provides several scanning enhancement options, including HTTPS protocol scanning, report generation, redirect handling, and verbose output. We installed and configured GoBuster to utilize directory enumeration with large word list and scanning optimization. In this screen, you can see sample command execution using this tool. This is WP Scan for WordPress vulnerability detection. This tool is pre-installed in Kali. So after a quick update, we scan our target for vulnerabilities and user enumeration. The finding can be found in this screenshot. Nmap is the network discovery tool primarily used for network scanning and exploration. Nmap is good at finding open ports and services. Its finding helps shape firewall rules. OpenVAS conduct in-depth vulnerabilities assessment. It has a vast database for known exploits backed by frequent updates. We like this tool for its vulnerability reports and actionable insights. Metasploit is for targeted exploitation. We use this tool to help validate vulnerabilities. It's known to be effective with WordPress, which is why we chose this tool. It also functions well with Nmap and OpenVAS. We also use OWASP-ZAP for proactive web defense. This tool is great for finding WordPress vulnerabilities, and we like its highly detailed security scan. XSR targets cross-site scripting vulnerabilities, which is a major threat for WordPress application. Barbsuit contains a collection of tools that capture and manipulate HTTP requests. That's all for Phase 2. Now the Phase 3 will be presented by Gevorgis Chemala. Thank you.
Hello, this is Gevorgis Chamala. I'll be presenting Cybersecurity Phase 3, Pen Testing and Security Operations. Our red team was responsible for assessment of vulnerability on the target system and conducting pen testing. Our blue team responsible for monitoring and responding to the incidents on our server. For vulnerability analysis, we use multiple tools: Nmap, WScan, SAP, OpenVAS, Metasploit, SQLmap, XSSR, GoBuster, Barbsuit, John the Ripper, Hashcat, etc. Nmap was able to identify open ports, that is 22 for SSH, 80 for HTTP, 2222 for another SSH. The operating system was found as Oracle VirtualBox, among other possibilities. Nmap also detected there is no HTTPS on the server, so all the traffic was unencrypted. WPScan reported the versions of Apache and PHP running on the server. XML RPC was enabled on WordPress, as well as its theme and uses were identified. OpenVAS was able to identify remote SSH server support weak key exchange algorithm as well as encryption algorithm. SAP identified a few issues on the server, including HTTP header exposing the information about the server, content security policy, and cross-domain JavaScript source files, as well as content type is not set. Metasploit analysis, we were able to do only limited analysis due to blocking on the traffic on the KSU network. But those exploits we tried were not successful. Barbsuit was able to track the traffic, and we didn't identify any form submission URL, so we guessed some URLs and tried to use it to attempt attack. We also tried same with SQLmap as well as XSSR, and we didn't find any attack options. GoBuster was able to analyze and report directory browsing, and we were able to successfully browse the target system's directories. Our blue team was responsible for defending our server, and they used tools like SE Linux, Fail to Ban, HD Access, Wazoo, WordFence, a plugin for WordPress. With Firewall, we only allowed ports 2280 and 443. Fail to Ban was able to identify two login attempts from two separate IP addresses, and they were those IP addresses were jailed. WordFence has two-factor authentication, filtering enabled, so it got spam and it were thrashed. WAS was able to continuously monitor the server, and with that we came to end of this phase.
Project recap. Our primary goal in this project was to secure Aqaba's e-commerce web server with cybersecurity protections based on our vulnerability assessment and testing those protections via red and blue hat activities. Our final Gantt chart shows our successful implementation of tasks leading to completion ahead of our deadline. Throughout these past 7 weeks, we successfully implemented a security system based on policy tailored to Aqaba's unique infrastructure and software footprint. In this presentation, we detailed our deployment of various security tools and measures, from vulnerability scans and intrusion detection systems to firewalls and enhanced configurations. We then conducted a red team attack to test the security systems in a real-world scenario. Given our project's tight timeline, we ran into challenges in quickly learning how to configure the software on Aqaba's web server, searching out the right security tools, and learning how to install, configure, and use them successfully. Our team worked entirely online, coordinating on Microsoft Teams daily to bring all the elements of this project to fruition. Throughout this process, we gained critical experience working as cybersecurity professionals and as a team to complete this project together. Along with the experience gained from this project, we learned from the findings of Team 3's attack on our system. Knowing what defensive measures worked and which ones didn't can help us to create more impactful security systems in the future. Our exploration of tools like Wazoo and Nmap shows a significant amount of configuration and practice to be fully utilized. The skills gained in this process will enhance our future security operations. Our recommendation for Aqaba is to follow a policy for periodic updates of equipment and software, as out-of-date technology contains known vulnerabilities, making them quick and easy targets. Incorporating these updates along with a regular monitoring regimen will ensure that our web server remains secure for years to come. I want to thank the hard work of everyone on this team, including Uju Anacheve, Cyber Analyst, Masururu Tasnim, Cyber Engineer, Gevorgis Chamala, Penetration Tester, and Richard Beiswanger, the CISO. We couldn't have done this without the excellent supervision and guidance of our professor, Dr. Zhigong Li. Our team found this project to be an invaluable experience alongside our learning while obtaining a master's degree in cybersecurity. Participating in this challenging project has set us up for success as we enter the cybersecurity industry. We are now confident that we will be able to take on the responsibility of implementing cybersecurity solutions in the real world and look forward to adapting to new cyber threats with proven strategies and innovative technologies. Thank you.